Hi, today I'm going to show you a few things you can do in Google Maps that will be very useful for this class. So first, if we do a simple search for Google Maps and navigate to it, it's just maps.google.com. It's going to open up something that looks like this. We're going to search for Yosemite Valley just for this demonstration, and you can search for locations in this upper left-hand corner. You'll see a picture of the area shows some description and then also a map of that area. The first thing I want to show you is that if you click on this picture, you can actually navigate through quite a few pictures usually of a given area, which might be helpful with some of the things that we're doing. To return back to your view, you're going to, in the upper left-hand corner, click this back arrow. And if you'd like to, you can collapse that side panel so you have a bigger view of the area using this little arrow here. So you can collapse it and then expand it. Now we see Yosemite Valley, and you're going to see in the lower left-hand corner there is something called layers, and we can hover over that and you'll see you have several options. So one of the views you might want to use is going to be satellite view. So if I click here on satellite, it will change this view to a satellite view. I can then use in the bottom right-hand corner the plus and minus arrows to be able to zoom in further into there. And then the minus arrow will zoom out a little bit. You can also use your mouse to drag around different areas of the map so that you can center in on a particular area. You'll notice that some of these markings might be sort of distracting. So if I go back to layers and I hover over and I click more, you can turn the labels off here by turning off that check mark. And then again, go to hover over layers, go to more, and you could turn it back on if you would like to. You'll also notice that under layers you have other options. And one of the ones you may want to use is going to be the terrain view. So if I click on terrain, it turns it into something that looks like this. Now what you'll notice here is that these gray lines appear. These are called contour lines. We'll learn about them in this class. And so this is a view that will be very useful to you at certain points in the semester. So I'm going to drag this up a little bit and zoom in. And what I want you to notice is that if you zoom in too far, those contour lines disappear. So sometimes you might be in the satellite view looking at something, and then I'll instruct you to go ahead and go back to the terrain view and look at the contour lines. Those lines are going to give you information about elevation. And you're going to say, oh, well, there aren't any contour lines there. You're going to need to zoom back out until those lines appear, and then you'll be able to interact with the map in that fashion. Another thing you might want to do is measure a distance between 2 points. So if I right-click on the map, you'll see that there are a lot of options here, and one of them is measure distance. So if I click measure distance, I can now click to another location and measure that. And so I can change where these anchors are to be able to measure from, let's say, this 4-mile trailhead, and I'm going to drag that over to Yosemite Valley Trailhead parking. And now I can see that I'm at 3.1 kilometers. There are some other options as well. Down here at the bottom, you'll see that it also converts it to miles. So if you need it in miles instead of kilometers, it does that for you there. One of the other things you'll notice is there is a scale bar in the bottom right-hand corner. I know that's really small, but it is there. So it's telling you that the length of this line is 200 meters. If you need this to be not in metric, if you click on that, it'll switch it to feet. So you'll notice I clicked on it, it went to 1,000 feet, the bar got longer. I click on it again, it goes to metric, the bar got shorter. As you zoom in and out of the map, it will change that scale bar. So if I click again, now I can see this is 500 feet. And so you're able to see what the scale looks like on the map. And so just remember that under layers, this is really helpful. You can switch back and forth between your terrain and your satellite view, and then go back to your traditional view if for some reason that's something that you need. You may also need to find that you need to record the latitude and longitude of a given location. So let's go over here to Staircase Falls. Let me zoom in a little bit on that. So let's say for some reason you need to have this latitude and longitude. If you right-click on there, it will indicate what that latitude and longitude is. We're going to learn what those numbers mean, but for now, just be aware of how that's done. You can also, when you search for something, you can put in latitude and longitude. So let me go get one of those right now. So let's take this example here. In this question, it asks you to type in this value into the search bar. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And then it also says to zoom out to an eye altitude of 10 miles. So going back to Google Maps, I'm going to, in the search bar, that's what it's talking about here, I'm going to paste that value in, click return, and it's going to give me that location there. And then it says zoom out to an eye altitude of 10 miles. So what I can do is I'm going to come here down to this 200 feet and note that there, and I'm going to click minus until I get this to say 10 miles in the bottom right-hand corner. So these are a few things that you might need to be doing in the class.